Hello, everybody. I'm Cassie Taylor, if you don't remember. I am doing my oral presentation, and I'm doing mine on the third topic paper that I wrote, which was over internet censorship in China, Iran, and Pakistan, and basically how it varies from the United States and the United States forms of internet censorship. Basically, people have been passing down information from one person to another forever. Back before they were able to write, people spoke what they thought to each other, or people wrote, shared ideas. They found a lot of ways to do that. But now we have this great thing called the internet, and it connects millions of people all together. You can share anything you want to, and you can limit who you want to see it. You can put it out there for everyone to see, or you can just put it to where a certain few people can see it. Living in the United States, we can almost basically post whatever we want. We can say how we feel, our thoughts, our ideas about things. Of course, there are some things that are still illegal. For example, posting and making child pornography is still illegal, even though we do have freedom of speech. People can talk about those ideas and thoughts, but not actually attack someone or put them to use. In other countries, their government's a little different. They have a different setup of their government, and so how that government chose to deal with the internet varies. And it's become a big controversy over it because, different countries have different ideas, so who's right, who's correct. You don't really know because everyone has different ideas and opinions. And that's one good thing about living in the United States. We can share our ideas, opinions with anyone. So basically, blocking the internet or controlling it is a form of censorship, which has been around forever. And censorship is even used in the United States. Say when you're watching TV on a certain station, they will not put cuss words or anything like that in their TV show because they're censored not to do that, and that is how they do their business. Many different countries have enforced types of censorship on their internet, just, based on their beliefs and principles and everything. One that's taken center stage in this big debate is China. And China basically has become, big center stage in it because they're commit to it. They're basically the best at it. They committed to it. This is how they wanted it to run, and that's still how it's going. Another big reason that people focus on China is China has 420 million internet users. And that research was from 2010, so there may be even more users now that it's even just 2 years later. But technology is always popping up and everyone's getting their hands on it, so you never know how many people there are. But that is a lot of people with internet access. China has one of the biggest populations, so of course it has the most internet users. They have technology. Basically, an idea for censorship in China is political censorship. And political censorship is used when the leaders or head political party of a particular country do not want their citizens to see what other people are posting about, like if they're discussing bad about them or making their citizens think, oh, they handled this really badly, maybe we shouldn't listen to them. And basically they use their censorship to just kind of keep control of the country. They are in control, they're going to stay in control, and they're going to control the internet, and that's how they're going to do it. They basically keep tabs on everything, even internet postings. Like, say something like Facebook, you post something, everyone sees it. They can take that down on a website like that. They will throw it away and it'll be gone. The political leaders in China were basically worried when the internet first came out as something that had happened there, which was known as internet guerrilla warfare, where all these websites just started popping up, telling people to go against their government. And like the website for the Democratic Party in China popped up. They wanted a lot of people involved with it, and they shut it down. They don't want their people thinking like that. They want them to listen to them, and that's their point of view. And some cases in China for doing something like this, like wanting people to think differently, or possibly one of the big reasons is starting a revolution in China. If you have over 400 million people following you in a revolution against the government, of course that government's going to fall, and of course they do not want that. But if you are prosecuted and found out for doing this in China, you can face up to 4 years in prison. So in comparison, think of stuff that people post on Facebook or YouTube when they talk bad about, say, the president or member of Congress. They could be sent to prison if we were not in the United States. And that all kind of comes to light now that there's getting close to elections, and you see all the negative things that people post about both sides and all that. The idea of fighting against these websites is pretty hard. And how do you think, a country can control all these websites? Most of the ones inside of China, you have to get a state license to open a website. So just like how people create blogs or, make their own websites, in the United States, you kind of just are able to do it. In China, you have to go to the state, explain the idea of your website, what your website's going to be about, what it's going to do, and they have to approve that website. So if you basically wanted to make a website against those who are in charge, they're not going to let you make that website because you're not going to get the license. This is why a majority of these types of websites are outside of the country. They go to a different country and set it up and then feed it back to China and, put it in Chinese so that the people can understand it regardless from where they're from. Because the majority of the websites that people in China look at are in Chinese. They're not in another language. And you think, how can China stop this when they're not in that state? Well, China has set up a firewall. It is called the Great Firewall around China, and it is used basically any websites coming in, they look at, and if they don't want people to see it, they're not going to see it. They make sure they know what's coming in, what people are going to look at, and they've taken a very aggressive, hands-on approach to censorship in their country. Now, China is not the only one that has internet censorship from its citizens. Another country I'm going to talk about is Iran. Iran has shut down social media and email websites from their citizens, and they've encrypted these websites so you could still go to it, but you couldn't read it. And that's, why would you go to something if you couldn't read it, basically, is the idea behind that. And all websites that begin with HTTP, which are majority of the websites we look at, look at all the YouTube links that are going to be up for this, they all start with that. Those websites are encrypted automatically. You cannot see them. They don't let you. They block it. However, many people in the country have come up with software that will encrypt these websites, and so they can look at them and see them and use them. But the government's also trying to ban these things and find them, prosecute the people who have them, because the whole part of their censorship is they do not want people to see this, and they do not want people to have the technology to use it. Pakistan is another country that is blocking technology. Well, not technology, but internet websites. And they have basically a blacklist of websites they don't want their people to see. One of the websites that happens to be on there is the website for the magazine Rolling Stone. And it is on there because there was a post that was talked bad about the Pakistani government and commented on them harshly, and they didn't want their people to see it, so the whole Rolling Stone website is gone. They cannot see it. It's encrypted. And the whole reason behind Pakistan's is a little different from China's, because China's was mostly political. Pakistan says that they want to control things like, social media and any other website because they don't want blasphemy coming into their country. And the whole basis behind their internet censorship is blasphemy. If they believe it is blasphemous, then they will block it from those in their country. and they have an idea and they're trying to stick to it. And that is, a little different than the United States, but it is their ideas, and this is how they're running their government. The United States, we live, it's, seen as pretty much, we can say whatever we want basically on Facebook and Twitter, YouTube. We can do a lot of things that a lot of other countries can't. A thing that was big in the news was the idea of SOPA, and this basically was going to target piracy. And piracy is the illegal downloading of music, movies, or even just watching them, like watching a YouTube video that has parts of movies in it and all that. And this was basically supported by, internet, like big music and movie corporations, and they don't like that everything's on the internet. And certain internet websites want to support this too, such as iTunes. It makes its money on us downloading movies and music from it and paying for it. So they're supporting that and trying to push that through with all their power there. Other websites such as Google, they are not too behind it. They sell ad space to all those free downloaders and YouTube and everything. And YouTube is definitely not behind it, because if SOPA went into effect, YouTube would be shut down. Basically, because how it would work is, if they found music or movie clips that were not posted by the people who own the rights to those, then they would be shut down. So say I made a video of a bunch of pictures or a video about myself, and I put in a song from an artist, and I do not own the rights to that song because I am not the artist, and they could take down my video if it would pass. My video would be completely gone. And that is why it's such a big deal, and people didn't want it, because it's kind of in the sense of Big Brother's watching you. They're watching what we are doing, watching what we post, what we download, what we like, everything. And so, in a way, they're trying to stop expression of people because they're using someone else's. So there's a little both-sided to that. So this significance of this is comparing how in the United States we have a lot of freedom on the internet, but other countries may not have the same freedom that we do here, but it kind of makes you grateful for what you have, and you get to see and compare different government styles to ours, understand a little more about it. And I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching.